Good morning, friends. You're watching BrainStormAcres. I'm Henry, and Irene's going to be joining me in just a few minutes because today we're canning some dried beans. Not just dried beans, but beans that we've cooked and we're going to put on the shelf. And by the way, we're also going to be pressure canning the tomato sauce that Irene made earlier. I'm disappointed that I was unable to recover the lost video from our second camera. We'll reshoot portions of this video later and put out another show. Thanks for understanding. Now I have 3 pots cooking on the stove right now. I've split a half gallon of dried pinto beans in between 2 pots and a little more than a half gallon of black beans. Split up this way because I didn't have a pot that was big enough. Well, at least I didn't have a big enough pot for the pinto beans. What we're going to be doing now is putting all of these beans into jars and then putting them into the pressure cooker and cooking them. Irene's just finished unloading the canner, and I'm going to turn the heat back on so that the canner warms up again. The water's ready to go, and I'm going to reheat my black beans. These black beans were cooked earlier this morning before we did the canning session. Now I just need to heat them up so they're hot, and we can can them up. That's a lot of black beans. Now Irene and I frequently will do separate tasks together. Right now, Irene's busy going up to the greenhouse to double check on things up there. I'm down here getting the black beans ready to go into jars so we can finish the canning process for those. I've added more water to the canner so that it's all ready to go once the water's heated up. I have the black beans that I cooked this morning on the back burner of the range so that I'm not putting any more heat back into the jars that Irene just pulled out of the canner. It shouldn't take very long to reheat these beans, probably 10 minutes, and by then I'm hoping that the canner's ready to go. Well, Irene's back from the greenhouse. She's going to show us some cucumbers here in just a second. There's a lot of stuff going on. We're getting a lot of produce off now, and now we have to figure out exactly what we're going to do with it. Some of it was unexpected.
Well, just got back from the greenhouse. Quick run out there. I could have picked more, but I'm still not even sure where I'm going to stick these in the fridge. These are all Tasty Jade cucumbers. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them, plus 1 paste tomato from the greenhouse. So, yeah. Tomorrow I'll probably have another 2 of these, and I have to become creative today and figure how to use. I've already got 5 of these in the refrigerator, so attack of the killer cucumber.
So, we'll start canning up these black beans. I put Irene's tomato sauce on the back burner to heat up. She made that yesterday. Tastes really good, but we need to go ahead and pressure can it as well. And we'll explain why later. Remember, this gets a little bit of salt and some chipotle.
Right. As I recall, we were doing, did we decide a teaspoon of salt and
a quarter teaspoon of salt and half a teaspoon of chipotle.
Okay.
And there's some water on the back burner,
Right.
so you can top them up.
The labels that was used on that jar left the nastiest, stickiest residue.
Oh, we have another one that's just like it, so we'll have to figure out what...
We'll have to use some Booby Gone later on, all that stuff.
Yeah, we'll have to figure out what labels they were, too.
You know, it might be a label we don't even have anymore. Some of these were used for some of your old pickles.
I think we'll have 3 or 4 cups of the tomato sauce.
Yeah, I think so. It was a small batch of sauce, but...
It's good. It tastes really good.
Yeah, I was pleased with the flavor yesterday. So. Yes, good flavors are a good thing.
Do you think there's another jar's worth in there?
I do think there's another jar's worth in there.
We'll see. I'm taking bets.
I say there's a jar.
There'll be a jar. The sauce is starting to boil around the edges. It's not heated all the way up. And we probably don't actually need to boil that tomato sauce, but I don't want to shortchange the canning schedule too much.
Yep. I prefer to be conservative always.
You know, we can things in the size that make sense for us. There's only the 2 of us, so one of these jars will do how many pizzas, Irene? 2?
No, 1.
So 1 pizza. Oh, that's awesome.
You know, if I decide that I want a little less, you know, I can always cheat it. But I try to create containers that will do it just right. Now they're Italian tomato sauce. They're saying keep it with a 1-inch headspace. They say a 1/2-inch headspace on it.
All right, well, we'll go with a 1/2 inch then.
Because we don't like, well, I may boil it down too, we'll see. We don't like floppy.
And if you'll get me a spatula, I think that I can get...
Spatula C.
Yeah, I think I can get this jar full enough to can.
Yeah, well, it'll be full enough by definition. So we wound up with 3 8-ounce jars. Not quite as much as I'd hoped for, but...
That's about what I guessed.
Yep.
All right, shall we put the top on and get this going?
Yep. Okay.
Let's say goodbye to everybody.
Shouldn't I tell them why I'm pressure canning my tomato sauce?
We could talk about that now, but we should talk about technically why we do that in a separate thing.
Okay.
So, why are you canning your tomato sauce this way, in a pressure canner?
Right, because if you read the instructions for water bath canning tomato sauce, you have to add acid, usually in the form of bottled lemon juice. Bottled lemon juice has a standardized acid content in order to make it safe, but we can taste it.
Yeah, we don't like
And we don't like lemon. I really dislike it when I get a tomato sauce that I can taste the citric acid or the lemon juice in. So the solution to that is to treat it as if it's a non-acid thing. It might be perfectly safe to can it without the lemon juice in there.
Don't take the chance.
But I'm just not going to, because sometimes, I mean, I just found 3 jars of the little guys like this that are 3 years old. I'm not worried about it. They're completely sealed. They got shuffled back behind some of Henry's pickles. And when I was in on my hands and knees in the back of the cupboard the other day, I found them and went, awesome, I have tomato sauce. However, I'm not worried about it because I know how they were canned.
So, There's a lot more technically behind the discussion that Irene just had, and I think we'll have to cover that in a later video, talking about some more of the science behind canning, because it's really important that you understand that if you're going to be doing home canning, home pressure canning, and even home canning of low acid foods.
Right.
So, we hope this was interesting. It was informative.
It was definitely warm.
Yeah, it's about 94 degrees outside right now. It's 11 o'clock in the morning. We started really early, but we started early so we could get it done before the heat of the day, and we'll be done. This is only going to cook for what? 75 minutes, I think.
Something like that. I'll double check that. Oh, yeah, because it's got the beans in it. Of course, 75 minutes.
So it's not going to be terribly long. If we were just pressure canning the tomato sauce, it would be something like 25 minutes.
Right, and we don't technically have to do it that long, but I don't want to run the canner twice, so we're going to cheat a little.
In any case, thanks very much for bearing with us through this relatively lengthy process. We hope you found it interesting. Hopefully it was informative, and we'll encourage you to do some home pressure canning yourselves. If you're not going to do pressure canning, at least do some water bath canning.
Right, that's easy. Everybody's got a pot.
And everybody's got water.
Well, not always.
We almost did.
Yeah.
Well, thanks very much for watching. Take care. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.